Hey, what's up guys, Alfa here, and welcome back to another F1 23 scenario event. And this one is pretty special because if we complete the challenge, we get to unlock the special Spa kick livery for the Alfa Romeo team. Unfortunately, can't be used for the actual Alfa Romeo team in like career mode per se, but you can use it in F1 World and on the My Team car technically. But it's also a pretty fun scenario. So the objective is to finish in 5th place or higher at the Portuguese Grand Prix. It's been raining, but we've pit early with Valtteri Bottas, and basically the scenario is, can you take Valtteri Bottas to P5, with this very early pit stop? You can see it's so early, in fact, that it is still pretty wet out there. It probably, if this was a career mode race, I probably wouldn't have pit this early, but we have gone for it. It's a bit slippery out there. But part of the challenge really is to see how good we can go in these kind of conditions on the slick tyres, on soft. It's not absolutely horrendous. You can see we are actually getting a decent amount of grip. There is a few little moments of twitching of oversteer where the track is still a little bit too slippery and damp. But there is actually pretty good response from the car. It's just under braking acceleration where we have to be careful. You can see having to soar away at the steering wheel to keep the car going in a straight line up this supple hill before we go down for the double right-hander, usually in dry conditions, near enough flat out through that first part, but having to lift off and just take it easy over this curb, which is easy enough to spin on in the dry, let alone in these wet conditions. But this is part of the challenge, is trying to make the most of this part of the race, because eventually this track is going to dry out. We've got, we're on lap 58 of 66, so there is enough time for it to fully dry out where the AI will come in, and we're down in P15, so I suspect there will be people coming in, because that's the only way we're actually gaining that many positions, because right now we are gaining time on our teammate Zhou Guanyu, 2.7 up the road, everyone on inters right now, and we've gone purple first sector, and this sector right here now, this corner, looks so much drier, little lift, having to change down, but carrying more speed through here, and we've gained about, what's that, 7/10 on Zhou alone in just those like 2 corners. So it is coming towards us. We are on the right tyre as we go probably purple second sector as well, I imagine, as we really catch Zhou now through the right-hander in the last sector, and we're now within 6/10. So within, what was that, like a sector basically, we gained about 2 seconds alone as Sainz set the fast lap of the Grand Prix. I don't know what tyre he's on, but we skate through past Zhou Guanyu up into P14, and we'll go and get the fast lap of the Grand Prix, I imagine, as we cross the line. But I think now people will start to come in for the slicks. There you go on the mini-map. We've got Hulkenberg's in, Zhou is in, the AlphaTauri is in. Quite surprisingly, though, the rest of the grid actually still out on inters. So we have a whole nother lap then of soft tyre running on everyone on intermediates, which they aren't too bad on a dry circuit. It's just the fact that every time you accelerate the braking, it just won't be as responsive, and that's where we're gaining the most time on everyone around us as we now close up on Magnussen, who we're lapping actually, but he's actually going to hopefully give us some DRS, which is activated now, I think, and we're catching up to Tsunoda, 1.4 ahead. Sainz, the Ferrari in P10, he's in the pit, suggesting probably now everyone else is in the pit. So I think overall we did make quite make the most of that first situation. Could have gone a little bit quicker maybe, if I was a bit more confident on throttle and brake maybe when it was raining on that first lap, but you've got to do what you've got to do to try and survive, and we're in a good position now because we're up to P9 with people making their pit stops. Lap 60, we've got 6 laps to go then. Norris, Ocon ahead of us, then it's Fernando Alonso, I think, and possibly someone else. As Stroll, yeah, Stroll's there, but he's pitting actually, so we've overtaken Stroll. Sargent is being lapped, so we go into turn 1, overtake Stroll in the pits, get Sargent, he gets out of the way thankfully. It's just about an okay time, little bit of a lift off needed into turn 1 to get past him, but now we have free reign to chase after Norris, 1.3 ahead. Ocon 2.8, that's P6. P5 is Fernando Alonso, I believe, or it was a Red Bull, and it is a Red Bull still actually on the minimap, you can see Sergio Perez, but he's going to overtake Alonso, I feel, probably in the Red Bull. So I think we'll be chasing Alonso by the end of this race. Lap 62, 4 laps to go, really gaining on Norris, using a lot of curve to try and just keep within the confines of the circuit, get the good exit up the hill, down this roller coaster, sector 2, and I'm going to try and and go for a bit of a cheeky dive bomb. Ooh, very, very close. Lando actually gets out of the way a little bit and gives us a little bit of space. Otherwise, we definitely would have banged tyres there, but he saw me in the mirrors. So we're up to P7, and now we've got a team radio coming in.
Information on Alonso. Okay, they're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
So there's a mechanical issue for Fernando Alonso. He's in P4 at the moment, but like I said, Perez probably would have overtaken him anyway, but now he's definitely going to get him. So he will be the man we're chasing to get the P5 target as we set another fast lap of the Grand Prix, 5 clean lap bonus as well as we go for the move to the inside on Ocon. And now it's just about trying to close down Fernando Alonso. But now that he's got a mechanical issue, we will be able to gap that. If it wasn't for that, I would have been worried. 3.2 behind would have been very, very difficult with my pace around Portimao to catch Alonso. But now with the mechanical issue, that is going to erode because he's going to be quite slow now in and out of corners. Again, like the scenario at Brazil with the broken gearbox, I don't know if this is like coded into the challenge. Like obviously Leclerc had the DNF at Sao Paulo. I don't know if that's coded into that scenario, and him having a mechanical failure here is coded in, or whoever is going to be likely in P5 gets a mechanical issue just to give you an actual fighting chance of getting the P5. I don't know, because if I'm really honest with myself, I don't think I could have extracted 3.2 seconds under normal conditions to gap Alonso, whether that's in this dry period or in that wet period where we were on softs and everyone's on inters. So hard to really tell. If it wasn't for this mechanical issue, it would have been pretty much impossible, I think, for me to get Alonso. But here we are then on lap 64, almost in a way, made it a little bit too easy to get Alonso here as we go on the outside. A little bit of ERS usage. He's going to squeeze us to the outside. We're going to have DRS as well as we go across the line onto lap 65, the second last lap of the Grand Prix. Squeeze him to the inside just to try and compromise his line and then get into turn 1 in P5. And then obviously there's no other positions to get. That's our position that we needed to get, and obviously we're not going to gap 5.1 to Perez. He's set the fast lap of the Grand Prix actually, so he's on his way to maybe chasing after Lewis Hamilton. But all in all, pretty damn good in terms of the scenario. You know, what were we, like P15, P16 when we came in for the soft tyres? So very much a gamble. If this happened in real life, you'd be thinking absolutely 300 IQ plays from Alfa Romeo and Valtteri Bottas as we come through. Verstappen's one, shock horror, as we come through to get the P5 and secure the result and the objective we needed in this challenge. So I believe when the challenge kind of event time is over at some point, I'll be able to claim the livery. But like I said, it's a little bit redundant because you can't use the livery, unfortunately, in my team career mode or driver career mode. I really think they need to change that and allow these unlockable liveries to be used for the AI teams, because there's no point. Like, you're not going to want to drive in an Alfa Romeo livery in career mode if you're racing Alfa Romeo as well. It just doesn't make any kind of sense for whatever kind of story you're making in your own career mode, say. But anyway, in terms of the scenario, quite a fun one actually, quite challenging at the start, definitely with the wet weather running. But let me know how you guys made of it, if you have tried it out for yourselves basically. And once again, like I said in the other video, let me know if you want to see more of these scenario videos. I think the reaction to the gearbox one was a bit lukewarm, so I don't know if just F1 World just doesn't really interest that many people at all. Let me know in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.